Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Ranger, watching the stars through the main screen. His ship was small compared to the massive vessels that protected Earth, but it was fast and tough. Jake had served in 3 wars before, taking this peaceful exploration job. He thought his fighting days were over. Dr. Lisa Grant walked onto the bridge carrying her medical scanner. She was studying samples from the last planet they visited. Lisa loved discovering new forms of life. Even tiny bacteria excited her. She hoped to find intelligent aliens someday, ones that could teach humans about the galaxy. "Captain, we have a contact," said the communications officer. "Large ship, unknown design, they're sending us a message." Jake looked at the screen. The alien ship was beautiful, with smooth curves and bright lights. It looked like art more than a weapon. "Put them through," he said. The screen showed a tall, thin creature with scales that changed color like a rainbow. It had 4 arms and large, gentle eyes. When it spoke, the translator made its voice sound musical. "Greetings, unknown vessel. I am Commander Zethka of the Confederation ship Serenity's Dawn. We come in peace to welcome you to the galactic community." Jake smiled. "First contact at last. I'm Captain Morrison of the human exploration vessel Ranger. We're honored to meet you." On the alien ship, Science Officer Veltar watched the humans through their sensors. The insect-like alien clicked his mandibles nervously. These creatures looked primitive, with soft skin and no natural weapons. They seemed harmless enough. "They appear to be from a standard garden world," Veltar reported. "Low gravity, mild climate, abundant resources. Their technology is basic, but functional." Commander Zethka nodded. "Another peaceful species to join their confederation. Prepare the welcome protocols. We'll invite them aboard for the greeting ceremony." The 2 ships moved closer together. Jake chose a small team to visit the aliens. Dr. Grant was excited to meet new life forms. Tech Sergeant Sam Rodriguez came along to study their technology. Pilot Amy Foster would fly the shuttle. As they prepared to leave, Amy checked her equipment, twice. She had reflexes faster than any pilot Jake had ever seen. Her hands moved over the controls like they were part of her body. "Ready when you are, Captain," Amy said. The alien ship was even more beautiful inside. Soft lights glowed from the walls. Strange music played quietly in the background. Veltar and 2 other aliens met them at the docking bay. "Welcome," Veltar said through his translator. "We are honored to meet representatives of your species." Dr. Grant stared at the aliens in wonder. 3 different species working together peacefully. One looked like a walking flower with petals instead of arms. Another was covered in soft fur and had huge eyes. "Your ship is amazing," Lisa said. "How many species are in your confederation?" 47 peaceful races, the flower alien replied. "We share knowledge and protect each other from the dangers of space." Sam Rodriguez studied their technology, quietly. Everything was designed for comfort and efficiency. Nothing looked like a weapon. These aliens had never needed to fight for their survival. The aliens led them to a large room with windows showing space. Commander Zethka joined them, along with healer Krinda, a gentle creature that reminded Jake of a deer. "Tell us about your world," Zethka said. "What is it like?" "Earth is beautiful," Dr. Grant said. "We have oceans, mountains, forests. The weather can be harsh sometimes, but we adapt." Veltar made notes on a device. "Harsh weather? How harsh?" "Well, temperatures can drop to -40 degrees or rise to 50 degrees. We have storms with winds over 200 kilometers per hour. Sometimes the ground shakes and mountains explode." The aliens looked shocked. That sounded terrible. "But surely you live in protected cities?" Krinda asked. "Some people do," Jake said. "Others choose to live in the wild. Humans climb the highest mountains for fun. We swim in frozen lakes. Some people jump out of aircraft with just a cloth to slow their fall." "For fun?" Veltar whispered. These creatures were insane. Before anyone could answer, alarms started screaming. Red lights flashed throughout the alien ship. Commander Zethka spoke rapidly into a communication device. "Pirate ships. he announced, his scales turning dark with fear. 3 vessels, heavily armed. They're demanding we surrender our cargo. Through the windows, they could see dark ships approaching fast. They looked mean and dangerous, covered in weapons and armor plating. Can you fight them? Jake asked. Fight? Zethka looked confused. We are peaceful beings. Our shields will protect us until Confederation forces arrive. How long until help comes? 2 days. Jake looked at his team. Amy was already calculating flight patterns. Sam was studying the alien ship systems. Dr. Grant was moving toward the medical bay, knowing people would be hurt soon. Captain, Amy said quietly, their shields won't last 2 hours against those weapons. The pirate ships opened fire. Bright energy beams struck the alien vessel. The Confederation ship shook and the lights flickered. Shields at 60%, reported an alien crew member. Jake made a decision that would change how the galaxy saw humanity forever. Sam, get to their engineering section, see if you can boost their power systems. Amy, find their flight controls. Lisa, prepare for casualties. The humans moved with sudden purpose that shocked the aliens. There was no panic, no discussion, they simply acted. What are you doing? Zethka asked. Jake's expression had changed. The peaceful explorer was gone, replaced by something older and harder. We're going to save your ship. The pirates fired again. This time, the UES Ranger fired back. The pirate ships circled like hungry wolves. Their weapons tore through space, hitting both vessels again and again. The alien ship's beautiful lights dimmed as power failed throughout the sections. Tech Sergeant Sam Rodriguez ran through the alien corridors, his heavy boots echoing loudly. The scared aliens pressed against walls as he passed. Sam had fought in asteroid mining wars where one wrong move meant death in vacuum. This was just another day for him. He found the engineering section and stared at the alien technology. Everything was smooth and elegant, designed by beings who never expected violence. Sam pulled out his toolkit and started connecting human military equipment to their systems. What are you doing? Asked a nervous alien engineer. The creature looked like a walking crystal, its body sparkling with inner light. Making your ship fight back, Sam said, not looking up from his work. His hands moved fast, connecting wires and circuits. Your power system is built for efficiency, not survival. We need to change that. On the bridge, pilot Amy Foster sat at the alien flight controls. Her fingers danced over surfaces she had never seen before, but somehow she understood them. Human brains were wired to adapt, to learn, to survive. Commander Zethka watched in amazement as Amy made their ship move like it never had before. The graceful vessel twisted and rolled, dodging incoming fire with moves that should have torn it apart. Impossible, Veltar whispered. The structural stress should destroy us. Amy glanced at him while her hands kept working. Your ship is stronger than you think. You just never pushed it to the limit. The UES Ranger fired its weapons at the pirates. The small human ship was fast and tough, built for exploring dangerous space. Captain Jake Morrison stood at his command post, giving orders with calm authority. Target their engines, not their weapons, Jake commanded. We want them disabled, not destroyed. Sir, why not just kill them? Asked his weapons officer. Because then we'd have to explain to our new friends why humans are so good at killing. Dr. Lisa Grant had taken over the alien medical bay. The space was designed for treating minor injuries, not battle wounds. Healer Krinda watched in shock as Lisa transformed the peaceful room into a war hospital. Your medical equipment is amazing, Lisa said while setting up surgical tools. But you've never had to treat serious trauma before, have you? Krinda shook her head. The deer-like alien had never seen violence before today. We heal small hurts, cuts from accidents, sickness. Today you'll learn battlefield medicine, Lisa said gently. Don't worry. Humans have been patching each other up after fights for thousands of years. The first wounded aliens arrived. A crystal engineer had been cut by flying debris. An insect-like crew member had been burned by electrical discharge. Lisa worked on both at the same time. her hands steady even as the ship shook around them. "How can you stay so calm?" Krinda asked, watching Lisa stop bleeding with tools she had never used before. "Practice," Lisa said simply. "On Earth, doctors train for disasters, earthquakes, storms, accidents. We learn to work when everything goes wrong." Back in engineering, Sam had finished his modifications. The alien power systems now channeled energy like a human warship. Warning lights flashed as systems ran beyond their normal limits. "You're going to damage our equipment," the crystal engineer protested. "Better damaged equipment than dead crew," Sam replied. He activated his changes. Throughout the ship, weapons that had never existed before came online. Sensor arrays became targeting systems. Communication dishes became jammers. The peaceful vessel began to fight back. The pirate captain contacted both ships. His voice was full of anger and confusion. "What are you doing? You're supposed to be defenseless," Jake Morrison answered from the Ranger. "We're human. We don't do defenseless." The pirate ships changed tactics. Instead of just demanding surrender, they began trying to destroy both vessels. Energy beams tore through space with deadly intent. That was their mistake. Amy Foster's flying became something beyond skill. She moved the alien ship through patterns that hurt to watch, impossible spirals and turns that used every bit of the vessel's hidden strength. The pirates couldn't track them long enough to get a solid hit. Sam's jury-rigged weapon struck back. Alien sensors designed to study distant stars now painted targeting data on enemy ships. Communication arrays, built to send peaceful messages, across space now jammed pirate systems with electronic screams. On the medical deck, more wounded arrived. Lisa worked on 3 patients at once while teaching Krinda how to stop bleeding. The gentle alien was learning that sometimes healing required violence against injury itself. "Your species," Veltar said to Jake over the communication link. "You're not like the others we've met." "No," Jake agreed, watching his ship's weapons find their marks. "We're not. Your world, you said it was beautiful. Peaceful." Jake smiled grimly. "It is beautiful. But peaceful? Earth tried to kill us every day for millions of years. Storms, predators, disease, cold, heat, poisonous plants, deadly animals. We survived by learning to fight back. Another pirate ship took hits to its engines and began drifting. The remaining 2 ships fired desperately, but Amy kept the alien vessel dancing through their weapons fire. We studied your files," Veltar continued. "Your people climb mountains that could kill them. They swim in water cold enough to stop their hearts. They run until their bodies should collapse." "For fun," Jake said, "because we can. Because our ancestors who couldn't do those things didn't live long enough to have children." The last pirate ship exploded as Sam's improvised weapons found its reactor. The remaining vessel fled into deep space, carrying word of the terrifying new species to anyone who would listen. In the alien medical bay, Lisa finished treating the last patient. Krinda looked at her with new respect and fear. "You saved them all," the alien healer said. "That's what we do," Lisa replied. "Humans fight to protect. We destroy to create, we hurt to heal." The battle was over, but the real revelation was just beginning. 3 days after the pirate attack, both ships traveled together through quiet space. The aliens were still repairing damage while trying to understand their human rescuers. Commander Zethka had requested all available data about Earth and its people. Dr. Lisa Grant sat in the alien medical bay with healer Krinda. The gentle alien was studying human blood samples under a microscope, her large eyes wide with disbelief. "This cannot be correct," Krinda said softly. "Your blood carries 10 times more oxygen than ours. Your heart has 4 chambers instead of 2. You have a backup organ for almost everything." Lisa smiled. "Evolution on Earth was competitive. If one organ failed, you died, so we developed backups. And this substance," Krinda pointed to readings on her screen, "this adrenaline, it makes you stronger when afraid?" "Fear triggers our fight or flight response," Lisa explained. "Our bodies flood with chemicals that make us faster, stronger, and more alert. Pain becomes less important. Time seems to slow down. Krinda shuddered. You become more dangerous when threatened. Most species become weaker with fear. On the EU bridge, Veltar was reviewing human history files with growing horror. Wars, disasters, survival stories filled every record. He called Commander Zethka over to see the data. Look at this, Veltar clicked nervously. They call it the marathon. A human ran 42 kilometers without stopping, delivered a message, then died from the effort. But they celebrate this as heroic. Surely an extreme example, Zethka said. No, Commander. Thousands of humans do this same run every year, for entertainment. And look here. Veltar pointed to another file. They climb mountains 8 kilometers high where the air is too thin to breathe. Many die attempting it. The rest consider it an achievement. Zethka's scales turned pale. What kind of world creates such beings? In the engineering section, Sam Rodriguez was teaching alien crew members basic combat repairs. The crystal engineer and 2 others watched as Sam showed them how to fix systems under fire. Your equipment is built too perfectly, Sam explained while welding a power coupling. Everything fits exactly right, works exactly as designed. That's great when nothing goes wrong. But when things break, asked the crystal engineer. On human ships, we build everything to be fixed fast and dirty. A power coupling fails, we bypass it with spare wire. A weapon breaks, we jury-rig it with parts from the kitchen. Humans are very good at making broken things work. Sam pulled out a standard human toolkit. The aliens stared at the collection of hammers, cutting tools, and binding materials. Half of it looked like weapons. We have a saying, Sam continued. If it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid. Sometimes the ugly solution is the one that saves your life. Pilot Amy Foster was in the flight simulator, testing the limits of alien ship design. The peaceful vessels could actually perform incredible maneuvers, but their pilots had never tried them. Amy pushed the simulated ship through rolls and turns that made the watching aliens sick. Why do you torture your equipment? Asked the ship's original pilot, a flower-like being with delicate petals. I'm not torturing it, Amy said, pulling the simulator through another impossible turn. I'm finding out what it can really do. Your ships are amazing, but you only use 10% of their capability. Because more would be dangerous. Dangerous is sometimes necessary. What if pirates had surrounded you? What if you needed to dodge through an asteroid field? Your ship can do these things, but your people never learned how. Amy's hands moved over the controls like she was born to fly. The alien pilot watched in amazement as Amy made their peaceful vessel dance like a fighter craft. Captain Jake Morrison met with Commander Zethka in the alien ship's conference room. They were discussing the upcoming journey to the Confederation's main station. Your people will want to study us, Jake said. That's natural, but there are things about humans you should understand first. Please enlighten us, Zethka replied. His scales were still pale from reading the human history files. We're not naturally violent, Jake began, but we're very good at violence when we need to be. Every human child learns to fight, even if they never use those skills. We train our bodies to be strong, our minds to be quick, our spirits to never give up. But why? Your world is paradise compared to the reports we've read. Jake laughed. Paradise. Earth has killed more humans than all our wars combined. Storms that can level cities, earthquakes that swallow towns, diseases that kill millions, animals that hunt us for food. We call Earth home because we love it, but it's been trying to kill us since we first stood upright. Zethka was quiet for a long moment. And this made you strong. It made us survivors. Every human alive today is descended from billions of humans who refused to quit when everything went wrong. We carry their genes, their memories, their stubborn refusal to die quietly. Suddenly, alarms began sounding throughout both ships. The communication officer's voice echoed through the corridors with panic. Emergency signal detected. Colony ship in distress. Mining station under attack. Jake and Zethka rushed to the bridge. The main screen showed a distant solar system with automated distress beacons screaming for help. How many people? Jake asked. 50,000 civilians, the communication officer reported. Families, children, The attacking force is identified as Karthek Dominion. Zethka's scales turned black with fear. The Karthek are a military empire. Brutal, efficient killers. We must contact Confederation forces immediately. How long until help arrives? 4 days minimum. Jake looked at the screen showing the distant battle. 50,000 innocent people were about to die while help was 4 days away. Set course for the colony, Jake ordered. Captain, Zethka protested. The Karthek have 50 warships. We have 2 vessels, one of them damaged. Jake turned to face the alien commander. His expression was calm, but his eyes held something that made Zethka step backward. Commander, you're about to learn why Earth didn't make us peaceful. It made us dangerous. The mining colony of New Haven hung in space like a wounded animal. 50 Karthek warships surrounded it, their dark hulls bristling with weapons. Explosions lit up the colony's surface as the attackers destroyed anything that looked valuable. Captain, Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Ranger, studying the enemy formation. The Karthek ships were twice the size of his vessel, with armor plating and military-grade shields. By every logical measure, this was suicide. Tactical analysis, Jake ordered. 50 enemy vessels, heavy cruiser class or larger, his weapons officer reported. Estimated crew of 40,000 Karthek warriors. They've surrounded the colony in a standard siege formation. Commander Zethka watched from the alien ship as Jake began planning an impossible rescue. Captain Morrison, please reconsider. The Karthek are the most feared military force in this sector. They conquered 12 systems in the last year alone. How do they fight? Jake asked, ignoring the plea. Veltar consulted his database. Overwhelming force, superior technology, brutal efficiency. They attack in formation, destroy all resistance, then occupy territory. No species has successfully resisted them. Jake smiled grimly. Then they've never fought humans. On the mining colony, Administrator Mira Webb crouched in an emergency shelter with 300 civilians. She was a tough woman who had managed frontier colonies for 20 years, but nothing had prepared her for this. Status report, she called to her security chief. Perimeter defenses are down. They're landing troops on levels 5 through 12. We've got maybe 6 hours before they break through to the civilian areas. Mira looked at the frightened faces around her. Families with children, elderly workers, young engineers who had come here to build something new. They were all going to die, and there was nothing she could do about it. Then her communication device crackled to life. New Haven Colony. This is Captain Morrison of the Human Vessel Ranger. We're here to get you out. Human vessel? Mira grabbed the communicator. Captain, you need to leave immediately. There are 50 Karthek warships out here. We know. Prepare for evacuation, we're coming in. Aboard the Ranger, Jake gathered his crew. They were explorers and scientists, not soldiers, but every human learned to fight when survival was at stake. The colony has evacuation shuttles, but they can't launch with Karthek ships blocking the exit routes, Jake explained. We need to create a hole in their formation. Sir, Amy Foster spoke up. My analysis shows we can use the asteroid field near the colony. If we lure some of their ships into the rocks, we can even the odds. Tech Sergeant Sam Rodriguez grinned. And I've got some ideas about making their ships less effective. Humans are good at sabotage. Dr. Lisa Grant was already preparing medical supplies. I'll set up triage stations on both ships. There will be wounded. On the alien vessel, the Confederation crew watched in amazement as the humans planned their attack. These peaceful explorers were transforming into something else entirely. They're actually going to attack, Veltar whispered. 50 warships, and they're planning to attack. The first phase of Jake's plan began with misdirection. The Ranger appeared on the edge of the Karthek formation, broadcasting false identification codes. Karthek vessels, this is merchant ship Lucky Strike requesting permission to trade. Amy transmitted, using her best frightened civilian voice. War Chief. Graktor, commander of the Karthek fleet, laughed at his communication officer. Another stupid traitor. Destroy it and get back to looting the colony. 3 Karthek cruisers broke formation to pursue the small human ship. Amy led them on a chase through the nearby asteroid field, her incredible piloting making the Ranger dance between massive rocks that would crush any ship they touched. "Impossible," muttered the Karthek pilot, watching the human vessel perform maneuvers that should have been physically impossible. "How are they not dead?" Amy answered by diving toward an asteroid the size of a city, then pulling up at the last second. The pursuing Karthek ships, built for straight-line combat, couldn't match her moves. 2 crashed into rocks. The third limped away with massive damage. While Amy created chaos in the asteroid field, Sam Rodriguez took a shuttle toward the colony's industrial section. The Karthek had landed troops there to secure the mining equipment. Sam's shuttle looked like a supply vessel, but he had filled it with surprises. Human military doctrine included extensive sabotage training. If you couldn't win with superior force, you won by making the enemy's advantages useless. He landed near the colony's power station, now occupied by Karthek soldiers. The alien warriors were 8 feet tall, covered in armor plating, and armed with weapons that could punch through starship hulls. They were built for conquest. Sam Rodriguez was built for survival. He moved through the colony's maintenance tunnels like a ghost, using routes the Karthek didn't know existed. Within an hour, he had planted charges on every major system the invaders were using. Phase 2, he whispered into his communicator. The explosions began simultaneously across 12 levels. Power stations, communication arrays, equipment that the Karthek needed to coordinate their attack. Suddenly, the organized invasion became chaos. War Chief Graktor roared in fury as his reports became confused and contradictory. "What is happening? Down there?" "Unknown, War Chief. Our forces report equipment failures across all occupied areas. Someone is sabotaging our operation. Find them and kill them." But Sam was already gone, moving to his next target. Humans had learned guerrilla warfare on a world where everything tried to kill them. The Karthek were about to discover what that really meant. On the colony, Administrator Mira Webb received new orders from Captain Morrison. "Begin evacuation procedures. We'll have the exit route clear in 30 minutes. "How?" she asked. "There are still 47 enemy ships out there." Jake's voice was calm but carried an undertone that made her shiver. "Because we're about to show them why you don't threaten human civilians." War Chief Graktor stood on his command bridge, watching his perfect invasion fall apart. 3 ships destroyed by impossible flying. His ground forces confused by systematic sabotage. Now reports came in of a single small vessel attacking his rearguard. "Impossible," he snarled. "One tiny ship cannot challenge the might of the Karthek Dominion." But Captain Jake Morrison had stopped playing by the rules of conventional warfare. The UES Ranger struck like lightning, hitting supply ships and communication relays before vanishing into space debris. Every attack was precisely planned to cause maximum disruption. On the mining colony, Administrator Mira Webb led the evacuation with calm efficiency. 20 years of frontier management had taught her to stay focused during disasters. She guided families through corridors while explosions shook the station. "Transport 7 is loaded," reported her security chief. 300 civilians ready. "For launch. Wait for the signal," Mira replied, watching her screens. "Captain Morrison said he'll clear the exit route." Tech Sergeant Sam Rodriguez moved through the colony like a hunting predator. He had destroyed the Karthek Communication Center and 3 weapons depots. Now he was hunting their field commander. The Karthek officer was easy to find. He stood, 9 feet tall, covered in ceremonial armor, shouting orders at confused soldiers. Sam watched from the shadows, studying his target. Humans had learned patience from a world that rewarded the careful hunter over the reckless fighter. Sam waited until the perfect moment, then struck. The Karthek commander never saw what hit him. One moment he was giving orders, the next he was unconscious on the floor. His soldiers found him tied up with a message attached. "Your invasion ends now." Pilot Amy Foster brought her shuttle screaming through the Karthek formation at impossible speed. She was no longer just flying, she was dancing with death itself. Her ship twisted between enemy vessels, drawing their fire and leading them into collisions. "Target the small ship," War Chief Graktor ordered. "All vessels, destroy that pilot." 20 Karthek cruisers turned their weapons on Amy's shuttle. Energy beams filled space around her, but she moved like smoke, impossible to catch. Her training on Earth's dangerous skies had prepared her for anything the galaxy could throw at her. Dr. Lisa Grant worked in the medical bay of the alien ship, treating wounded colonists as they arrived. The gentle healer Krinda watched in amazement as Lisa performed surgery while the ship shook from weapons fire. "How can you concentrate with all this chaos?" Krinda asked. "Medical school on Earth includes disaster training," Lisa replied, not taking her eyes off her patient. "Earthquakes, hurricanes, bombing attacks. We learn to save lives when everything falls apart." She finished closing a wound just as another shuttle arrived with more injured people. Lisa moved to the next patient without hesitation, her hands steady despite the battle raging outside. Commander Zethka stood on his bridge, watching the impossible rescue mission succeed. The humans had turned a hopeless situation into a victory through pure determination and tactical brilliance. "Science Officer Veltar," he called. "Are you recording all of this?" "Yes, Commander, though I'm not sure the Confederation Council will believe our reports." "They must believe. The galaxy needs to understand what we've discovered today." War Chief Graktor made his final mistake. Enraged by the damage to his fleet, he ordered all remaining ships to attack the evacuation shuttles directly. He would kill the civilians to deny the humans their victory. That was when Jake Morrison stopped holding back. The UES Ranger emerged from the asteroid field with every weapon system active, but these weren't the original exploration tools anymore. Sam Rodriguez had modified everything during the flight to the colony. Communication arrays became jammers. Sensor equipment became targeting computers. Even the food processor had been turned into a weapon. "All civilians are clear," Mira Webb reported from the last evacuation shuttle. "We're away from the colony." Jake opened a communication channel to the Karthek fleet. "War Chief Graktor, this is Captain Morrison. You have one chance to surrender." Graktor laughed. "One small ship against my entire fleet? You humans are truly insane." "You're right," Jake replied. "We are insane. That's what makes us dangerous." The battle that followed became legend among the stars. The small human ship fought like a wounded animal, using every trick, every advantage, every desperate tactic that millions of years of survival had taught humanity. Amy Foster flew patterns that broke physics, turning the Ranger into a weapon that struck everywhere and nowhere. Sam's modifications turned peaceful equipment into tools of war. Jake coordinated attacks with the precision of a master tactician, but it was the alien crew that provided the final surprise. Inspired by human courage, Commander Zethka brought his damaged ship into the fight. The peaceful Confederation vessel, now armed with human modifications, struck at the Karthek rearguard. "For the innocents," Zethka declared, firing weapons his species had never built. War Chief Graktor found himself caught between two enemies he couldn't understand. The humans fought like devils, never giving up, always finding new ways to hurt his fleet. The aliens fought with desperate courage they had learned from their human friends. When the surviving Karthek ships finally retreated, they carried word throughout the galaxy. A new species had entered galactic politics, a species that turned impossible odds into victory through sheer determination. Dr. Lisa Grant treated the last wounded civilian as both ships limped away from the battle. 50,000 people were safe because a handful of humans had refused to let them die. "Your species," Healer Krinda said quietly. "You save people you've never met." "That's what we do," Lisa replied. "Humans protect the innocent. It's who we are." Commander Zethka sent his report to the Confederation Council. "We have encountered a species unlike any other. They call themselves human. They come from a world they describe as paradise, but it created warriors who fight like demons to protect others. The galaxy will never be the same. The Deathworlders had been unleashed, and the universe would learn to respect the creatures from the small blue planet called Earth."